Hello out there, YouTube, and welcome to episode 3 of Fallout New Vegas. So, I was originally going to try and do some live commentary for this, but in the interest of time, I decided against that decision, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of exploring and somewhat mundane things that are not really necessary to post in a video, and so I'll just leave some of that out and just kind of hit the high points, you know, unless I find something super cool out there or anything that I think that you guys would want to see. If that's cool, you know, let me know. If you would like to see everything, then I would be more than happy to put it up. But I just don't feel that that's necessary. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'll just spend 2 hours sitting around wandering about, looting shacks and whatever kind of structures I find out there. So we just talked to that cowboy robot that you saw, and he's the guy that pulled me out of the grave. And he's somehow tied into the main story. I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out. And all the people in this initial town, Goodsprings, as it is known, that you start out in, all seem to have a different opinion of the robot and his intentions possibly being more sinister than they appear. So this is really the initial quest here. It's a bit of a tutorial. They'll teach you some of the things that you'll need to know out there. And I'll talk to this guy. He becomes somewhat important in a quest later on. So I just get some basic information from him. And I ask him about the machine, and his opinion is that the machine, the cowboy robot that is harmless regardless of what other people in the town might think. And at this point I'm inclined to agree with him, but we'll see how that plays out. So this is the girl that I'm always sent to go and talk to, and she's going to lead me on this tutorial quest. Just real basic skills like shooting and stuff like that, and it gives me the opportunity to get a few caps for completing the quest and to pick up a gun out of it. So we'll start out here with some basic shooting principles. And one of the things that I really like that they put into this game that was not in Fallout 3 is that every gun actually aims down the sights. In the previous game, not everything aimed down the sights. I don't really think anything did, to be honest, except for sniper rifles and things with scopes. Obviously, you would look through the scope. But it really just kind of zoomed in a little bit, and you'll notice there I took that first shot without aiming and missed horribly. So, and then I missed there with aiming, so I mean it's really not a guaranteed thing, but it does make it a lot easier. You're much more likely to hit your target if you look down the sights. So I wish that all games would do that. It seems to be improving, but there's still some out there that just zoom in a little rather than actually giving you what it would look like if you were aiming the gun in a real life kind of situation. So I guess I could say thanks Call of Duty for that. I think they were probably the first to put that in a game. I'm gonna pop open the Pip-Boy here and put on my armored jumpsuit, which seems like they just added a couple shoulder pads and all of a sudden the same thing I was wearing is armored. So we'll follow her to where this quest takes place, and it's defending the water supply of the town from some wasteland critters. And you'll notice that the water, well, I didn't drink any of the water, but the water in this area, the water supply, is actually radiation free. I think that's due to the fact that this, according to what everything says, is that this area was untouched by the bombs. Whereas in the previous game, Fallout 3, all the water was irradiated. If you drank it, you would get some health, but you would also get some rads. Rads are the measure of radiation that you've taken in. So a lot of things out there, you'll pick up some radiation off of it, but there's some that you won't, which is kind of cool. Rads, you can take quite a few before they'll start to affect you negatively. So I start out trying to sneak up on these things, and this is a little explanation of VATS here. But you see at the top how it said hidden, detected, caution, and then danger. If it says hidden, then no one can see you. If it says detected, then something friendly can see you. If it says caution, then the enemies have noticed your presence, but they're not sure where you are. Then danger means look out, they're coming after you. So then I pull up the VATS menu here, and you'll see it gives a body part for each of the geckos, as these things are called, and the percent chance that you will hit that body part. Right now, most of the numbers are kind of low, unless they get really close. You know, this is the first quest of the game, so that's to be expected. But as you progress, you'll be able to take perks, and you'll level up your skills with various weapons, and those numbers will increase at farther distances, to the point that ultimately you can get a 95% chance for a headshot from long ways off without a scoped weapon. So I usually try to go for the head, obviously because it does the most damage, but other body parts can be beneficial to hit as well. Critical strikes can happen on any of them, and hitting different body parts and crippling them will have different effects depending on what it is. If you hit something's leg and cripple it, then that decreases their movement speed. They'll start to kind of limp around. If you cripple the head, it limits their ability to see well, which makes sense, which will decrease their accuracy. Crippling the torso, I'm really not sure what that does. Crippling the arms, if the enemy is holding a weapon and you cripple its weapon arm, then it has problems shooting as well. Maybe even drops the gun, but I might be mistaken on that. You might have to actually shoot the weapon. And if an enemy is carrying a weapon, then that weapon will also show up in VATS, which stands for Vault Assisted Targeting System. And so shooting the weapon, they drop the weapon, and then they can't attack you. So right here, these three gecko are attacking an NPC, and she's fighting them off with her meat cleaver, which I thought was kind of badass. So I take him out and help her out, and then go talk to her, and she'll give me some water, I think, for helping. So, which brings up another description of what's going on. This was for reputation. And in Fallout 3, reputation consisted of you were good, neutral, or evil, and that's how everybody in the world saw you, as either good, neutral, or evil. But this game, you have an overall reputation of good, neutral, or evil, and then a reputation with each of the different factions in the world as the same thing. So the people of Goodsprings now see me as good, but the people down the road might see me as evil if I, affect them in a negative way. Which I think is kind of cool, because it allows you to align yourself with whoever you want to be aligned with. So, I mean, some enemies for me, if you're playing the game, they might not be enemies for you, depending on the decisions that you've made in game. So that's the end of that quest, and she sends me on another one to learn how to craft some things in the Wasteland, and that'll be in episode 4. So thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.